Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Reselling Rhythms. I'm your host, Adam, with Adam's Exploits. And I'm having a little microphone issue here, but we'll deal with that. Should be okay. Just going to let a few people fill into the chat, say hello to a few people. I tried to say hello to a few of the people earlier. I know Ty was here, and Crystal is here. Barbie is here. Who else is in the chat? Of course, Tracy said hello to everyone. Todd the Flippin' Hustler, Michelle, my mod. Thank you, Michelle. I see you're in the chat today. I apologize when I miss you sometimes. I get all excited and I scroll and I don't see you there. I know you're always there for me. I appreciate you. The Candle Hoarder. Hello, all. Just listening. I'm at work. Hope everyone's having a terrific day. Well, thank you for watching, Candle Hoarder. I'm sorry. Candle Hoarder. So just going to give it like another 30 seconds or so. And we'll fill in the chat and then we'll get started. Again, our special guest is Traci, YouniquelyMe. I have her YouTube channel listed in the description below the video. And then I'll just basically have Traci introduce herself, tell us a little bit about herself, her background, and why she got involved in reselling. And then we'll just talk about the various platforms, and we'll talk about sourcing, what we typically do. I just like to share people's experiences, and everyone does a little bit differently. You guys know I sell mostly men's clothes, but I have a lot of women's jeans I'm trying to get out of. I'm trying to get into the hard goods. I'm trying to get into the jewelry. So that's kind of where I'm going. I know Traci had mentioned that she wants to get into some of the jewelry as well. It just seems like it's so much easier to list hard goods than it is clothing. So let's say I think we're pretty good. We used to have a count here, and how many people? We just have 7 so far. Okay, well, it is what it is. Maybe somebody else is live as well. So I'm going to go to Traci, and then we'll have Traci introduce herself. Let me just go to Traci, and we'll present her to everyone. And then we'll have Miss Traci, YouniquelyMe. And Traci, if you just would introduce yourself to everyone and say hello and tell us about your story. You're up.
Hi, guys. I'm Traci, YouniquelyMe. And thank you, Adam, for having me. I appreciate it. I have been reselling for 2 years, and I have found such happiness in it. I love it. It's me. It gives me the flexibility I need in my life. And I'm not looking back, and this is what I'm doing for as long as I can. I sell on eBay mainly. I sell on Poshmark, or I try to. I sell locally on Facebook Marketplace mostly, and I have an antique booth, which I may be getting rid of. I don't know. I'll be determining that this month. So those are my platforms, and I'd like to get into Amazon as well. I'm just not quite to a point where I feel like I can dedicate enough time doing Amazon. But hopefully in the near future, I'll be doing that platform as well. Now,
you're located in Texas, I believe.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Let me tell you about myself.
Okay,
besides my platforms. I'm sorry. I'm a goofball, Adam. I live in Austin, Texas, and I've got 3 kids, 2 boys and a daughter. 2 of them live at home, my 2 sons. My daughter comes to visit a lot. And I don't know, we just love Texas. But I am looking into traveling in the future. My youngest will be a senior next year. So what I really want to do is work my way into a smaller lifestyle so I could travel and resell while traveling, maybe an RV or a 5th wheel RV, and just go see the world. I've always been a traveler, and I love to just see everything. So one of the main reasons I thought jewelry would be good for me is because it's so small and lightweight, and I can ship it easily and take it with me, where right now I sell a lot of big items, and that would make it impossible for me to do, you know, what I want to do with the traveling. So I'm trying to learn jewelry. I've sold jewelry for 2 years, but just little bits and pieces. So I'm just really starting to learn what the stones are, what the metals, you know, I've just learned in the last, I don't know, 6 months all of, you know, the really intricate parts of the jewelry, and there's so much to learn. I don't think you can probably learn all of it ever. So, but I'm doing my best, and it's fun. I really like it.
Yeah, talking to the jewelry sellers, they say that you're constantly learning about jewelry. Tanya had recommended a Jewelry Detectives book, which I ordered. I think it was like $12 on Amazon. And I want to get some of the books. And I know that some of the other sellers have actually picked up gemstone books at Goodwill and Salvation Army. So, I mean, that's something to look at too. I should probably look when I go into, I was in a Goodwill this week.
I only have one book. I only have one gemstone book, and it was a Goodwill find, and it's good. I couldn't even tell you the name of it, but honestly, Google has so much information that I don't know if I want a bunch of books around either. I mean,
well,
I'd like to
too. I mean, that's you want, and you're right though with the footprint with the jewelry. It does such a small footprint, and you can keep it in just containers and put maybe 2 or 3 containers and have some kind of organization and put them within another bin or whatever. Like to say now I have jeans. I mean, they stack easily, but I mean I have these big huge IKEA bins. They're like like 4 foot by like 2 foot. They're huge. They're on wheels, and I'm gonna have like 8 of them down my basement. But like I said, I would like to get into more hard goods. There's our friend from Texas, Miss Tanya's here.
It's Tanya. I love Tanya.
In the house.
Michelle, thanks for the compliment on the new do.
Crystal said she likes your hair too.
Thank you, Crystal. Yeah, I needed a change. I needed to start fresh for spring.
Your hair looks great, Tracy, says Tanya. Okay. Yeah, she's still trying to get the style the way she likes it. It's new.
Yeah, I cut quite a bit off.
One of these group chats, I should have muted that, but it's a little late for that now. Hi, Patricia. Thanks for joining us. Patricia's a jewelry seller. You know, Tanya's a jewelry seller. Michelle sells jewelry. Barbie sells jewelry.
Wow.
Quite a few jewelry sellers in the chat. So, okay. So, you said you sell on Poshmark. Now, how long have you been selling on Poshmark?
When I started reselling 2 years ago, and it's pretty much 2 years to the day. I think it was like April 2nd, that I started selling. So, I mean, we are right at 2 years. I got on Poshmark right away. I didn't really have good items. I had some good items, but I also put a lot of junk up there in the beginning. But those sold. Back 2 years ago, Poshmark was really a different platform. My daughter says, "Hi, Tracy." Hi, Lauren. I'm sorry. That cracked me up. No, so I got on there instantly just thinking it can't hurt. And I did have a lot of clothing to sell. So I just started selling my own clothing first. And honestly, my whole reselling gig, I started selling my items first. I had a lot of stuff, specifically because of the previous job, which we can talk about a little bit later. But the previous job I had, I just ended up with all these really nice items, and I didn't want them in my life anymore. I felt like I had too many things, and I really needed to get rid of a lot, and I needed to make money because that job was no longer. And I don't know. So I got on Poshmark. Everything sold pretty easily over there 2 years ago. It's a little different game right now. I feel like Poshmark is more of a hustle, as it should be. There's more sellers, and there's more buyers too, but people are very particular in what they want and what they're willing to spend. So I get discouraged sometimes on Poshmark because it's not as easy as it once was, but that's okay. I mean, I'm kind of a come and go person on Poshmark. When I get tired of it, I let it sit for a bit and I come back with a fresh mind.
Well, my understanding is, I mean, just again, I have a Poshmark account, but I don't sell on Poshmark. My understanding is the higher end items sell better on Poshmark. Also that buyers are always looking for some kind of a bargain or a deal. They want to get a discount. They want to bundle things. And my other understanding, again, this is just from peripherally, listening to other sellers, that you really have to be active sharing your closet. It's kind of like with eBay, if you don't list, it's kind of like list or die. My understanding is with Poshmark, you have to consistently share your closet at least 2 to 3. Again, this is just from my outside listening. You have to share your closet 2 or 3 times a day to get activity through Poshmark.
I'm not that person. I am not the person that shares every day.
Right.
I should be, and I go through spurts where I do, but I don't. I don't have this passion towards Poshmark like I do with eBay. So I tend to spend the majority of my time on eBay, and if Poshmark fits into the day, I'll go do some sharing. But I honestly hadn't shared my closet in a week, and then this morning I shared a couple items. So I'm not the best person to probably talk to. I mean, I've sold a lot of items on Poshmark, but
have you? Even when you're not sharing, you still sell items?
Well, right now it's slower. I mean, I'm talking in my whole time of selling on Poshmark, I've sold quite a few items and for good money, but I don't source a lot of clothing right now. So I can't tell you the last time I bought clothing to sell. Typically at this point, I'm selling my own stuff if I get tired of my own clothes, because I really sell a lot of hard goods and I'm into the jewelry now. I just like the weird one-off items, and clothing is not where my passion lies. Like I know clothing that's the thing. I know clothing. I shopped on Rodeo Drive every week for a year as a personal shopper.
Wow.
I know clothing. I know brands. I know how to find the quality just by feeling or touching, or just those little nuances with every part of the clothing. But I don't really have this huge passion for it right now. Maybe that will come back. There's just so many clothing items on eBay and on Poshmark that I kind of want to find the more unique pieces instead, like the vintage sleeping bags or the weird electronic stuff, stuff like that's exciting to me right now.
So you are using mostly, when you say hard goods, are you using mostly, I mean, what type of hard goods? Are you electronics, or what are you looking for?
Not a lot of it electronics, but like I've got a boom box listed this week, a huge one. So it's a large one, but I don't go searching for any one item. What I find and what I can get good comps on, that's what I'm buying, no matter what it is. I have no niche. I'm a master of nothing. I'll take anything. But electronics, I will take them, or I will resell them if it doesn't intimidate me. VHS players intimidate me because I don't want to set up an area to test them. I won't. It'll sit there. I've got one. It's sitting in a corner and it's been there for a month. I'm not going to test it. I'm not going to list it. It's going on my garage sale this weekend. I'm done. That's hard to me. But the boombox was exciting to me. So it's an inner feeling. I have to go with that. That's what I do.
Well, Todd's here. Todd, the Driven Hustler, and he was saying you have to kind of like be in love with the things that you're selling. You got to touch them, and you got to like give them positive energy and tell them they're going to find a new home. And Todd's a great guy. But it was funny the way he was saying, you got to be positive. You got to touch that thing, and then when you touch it, sometimes it helps it sell because you're giving it positive energy. And I've heard that works sometimes. So if that works for him,
yeah. I think you have to have a little bit of passion towards what you're selling. I mean, for me anyway, it has to be fun. I have to, and hi, Angie, hi, Mike, everyone's here. Cool. I think that if I have no emotions attached to it whatsoever, that I'm not going to do a good job at selling it. And it very well could sit in a corner in my house, and I don't want that.
We don't want
Yeah. I mean, honestly, what started this whole thing for me, having so much stuff, I also lost my parents, and that I ended up with a lot of stuff that way. So we threw away a lot of stuff. We donated a lot of stuff, but there were certain items I brought home that I didn't necessarily want to keep, but I couldn't just let them go. So it was kind of nice to get some money for these items and to find a home for them that somebody's going to love it, like my parents did.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And my parents were kind of hoarders. So that's why I strive in my life to not become a hoarder. So reselling it's hard to balance that, but I'm getting there.
So let's just say again, and I was going to roll into that anyway, how you source. Just while I'm thinking of it, I tell people sometimes things just pop in my head, and I want to ask you because I'll get involved in another conversation. I'll forget to ask it. Do you source it all with any local apps, or you strictly are like yard sales, garage sales, thrift shops?
My favorite sourcing method is yard sales by far. But
you have yard sales, what, about 10 months out of the year in Austin, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, probably
November, December, January, I guess is not, and the rest of the year.
Yeah, and we have estate sales all year. So,
right.
But I really stepped back because I feel like my house is filling up with stuff, and so I haven't been to a yard sale in about a month. I'm having a yard sale this Saturday, unless it rains. It might, because I've got to clear my house, to clear my mind, to start fresh. It's spring, new haircut, clean house. We're spring cleaning. Our whole house is in disarray because we're like spring cleaning. And I'm doing that in my eBay store. I'm going to spring clean my garage, get it all out that doesn't need to be here. If I'm not going to list it, it's going to go. I think we all get items that we're not going to list. We have good intentions, but it just sits there, and it's some kind of mental block. And once that thing is in your head and you allow it to kind of take over in a place in your head, you've given yourself away. I don't want to deal with that. So it's going, I will make some money at it. If I lose a little, that's fine. If I can have a clear head, I've got a new vision for my business. I need to clear the slate and kind of start fresh. So that's my idea. But yard sales are definitely my favorite to source. I love our thrift shops here. They're very pricey, but I don't go into a thrift shop to fill up a basket. So I go in and I look for the home run items. And I buy a lot for our family from thrift shops. I mean, we all do. And that's also an amazing part of this. I hate retail shopping now. I can't stand it. So let's see, yard sales, thrift shops, and lately, this is new to me, but I've been really having a good time with the shopgoodwill.com. Have you ever done that, Adam?
Thank you for mentioning that. I meant to write that down when I was getting prepared, and I forgot to write that down. I brought that up several times with some of my guests, and in fact, some of my other guests have said, "Oh yeah, I want to do it, but I'm not really that familiar with it." Like, so when you bring that up, I want you to finish what you're saying, and then we'll bring up a little bit about that. Did you want to try again? We mentioned this before, guys. We're talking about screen sharing, and I'm going to try to help Traci learn how to screen share. We might attempt it. I know we had an issue last week. I think sometimes the Google Hangouts and YouTube don't cooperate, but maybe that's something that if you wanted to try. I know you had the one window open. You want to show us one of your great finds. Maybe if you can open a browser again, you don't even have to show us. You can stay like this and just open that browser with Shop Goodwill. And again, we'll see we'll see you. But maybe you want to open that browser with Shop Goodwill, and then maybe we can just talk a little bit about Shop Goodwill. You can navigate a little bit. We can try that. I mean, because people like Thelma Thrift. We had talked about it, and I just assumed that she shopped on Shop Goodwill. She goes, no, but I really would like to. And I know a lot of our jewelry sellers doing it. Pretty sure Carol Morgan Shopping does. I'm pretty sure Tanya does. Get sticker shock at Walmart. Yeah, Mike. Yeah, my Walmart doesn't discount hardly anything. So if you want to try to open up that window, maybe, and then we'll attempt it. I mean, my viewers are very easygoing, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So
yeah, bear with us.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to write that down and ask you about that, and I completely forgot to write it down. So I'm glad you brought up with the Shop Goodwill because that's something I'd like to get into. Again, I go always to various online auctions. I see online. I mean, other YouTubers. But I would like to try to get in and learn more about jewelry and get involved with Shop Goodwill. What are we talking about, Jamie? There you go. Good job, Traci. See, you're a professional.
There you go.
We see you. We see your Shop Goodwill page. Cool. Okay, so if you want to just do a little, I mean, obviously don't show us what you're going to buy, but maybe show us how to navigate a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, how I do it, and I think I learned this possibly from Steve and Steph, the resale killers.
Right.
Yeah, they talked about it a while back, and so you can see my mouse and everything, right? Okay.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
over here, there's
search, right.
there's an advanced search button right here. So I click on that, and if you scroll down, you can click on the seller's button. And it's an awkward site because it doesn't look right to me, but that's where you find your local. I've only done it locally because they charge very, very high shipping.
I've heard that.
If
They have a handling
Yeah,
charge and a shipping charge.
very high. So see how many, I mean, there's so many of these that you can order
So
from.
you would just
But
go
I
to
just
Texas and see which ones are listed. I see Austin is in there.
So in Texas, we've got quite a few just in Texas: Abilene, Austin, Corpus Christi,
Right.
El Paso, Fort Worth. It just goes on and on.
Right.
So I'll just do the Austin, and then you can pick your categories, or you can search keywords, whatever you want. I sometimes just click that, and you can do the ascending or the descending, whichever you want. So that'll narrow it down. And there's so many pages still of just Austin here. So you can just start searching. And if you search just the jewelry, which is not the only thing I've been buying on Shop Goodwill. I've been buying shoes.
Goodwill Shop, Goodwill Shop.
I'm sorry, what, Adam?
That's Shop Goodwill's Austin shop?
Yes. Okay. Yes. So what you're seeing is Austin.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go into any city, and this way I don't get stuck with. And here's my method. Like, let's just look at something. Let's say this Michael Kors bag. It's at $37. It's got 5 hours left on the auction. I don't really bid until it's the day of the auction.
Right.
But what you can do, I can come in here and click on this bag, and it'll give you, numerous pictures. You can enlarge it and scroll through, and you're trusting them to be able to describe it, the damage or whatever. But you'll go down and look at, they do a fairly decent job of putting their information right here. See, they've put measurements, and their condition is good use condition.
Right.
So if I'm interested in that, I'll click this watch this item button. Oh, it's going to make me have to log in, so I'm not going to do that. Hold on. Anyway, I will click the watch this item, and it'll come up in a list. So I'll have this whole list of everything I am interested in. Or you can go ahead and enter a bid here. There's $38 is the minimum bid, and you can go ahead and do that. It'll show you right here that you've got five bids.
5 bidders, okay, or 5 bids.
Yeah. So I mean, the information.
Okay, tells you the handling price is $2. Okay.
So it's pretty good. Yeah, everything has a $2 handling charge at mine. I don't know if that's the same for everywhere, but at mine, I always add on the $2. So what I do after I get all of the items in that watch list, I'll go and I'll start bidding on that day's items. So I will just bid, and if I win them, it'll kind of show up in your personal page that you get. So I wait 5 days to pay. You have 5 days, and I wait till that last day to pay for all of my auction wins. And in the meantime, I'll be going through and trying to win other things. You have 48. Should I stop screen sharing? Maybe, I don't know.
No, it's fine.
Anyway,
it's fine, because a lot of our people are interested in this, and it's educational. This something we never discussed on my show. So
okay, cool. So anyway,
I'm comfortable showing it.
I'm trying to utilize those days that they're giving me to pay and to pick it up, to where I have to drive 30 miles away from my house to go get it. So I want to pick up as much as I can, at that time, to make it worthwhile. And you'll just have to figure out with your city what is selling and what is not. Like, I bought some very expensive shoes for $9.99. Nobody bid against me. so you can find things that nobody in your area may be looking at. Jewelry's the tougher part because they do kind of go high sometimes, but I've won quite a few. So, and it's worked out so far. I'm sure there's going to be some losing in this, but that's okay too, because that's what an auction is all about. You win some, you lose some. But if you go up here on the top, and since I'm not logged in, I guess it's not going to be here. There's some sort of button that says something along the lines of my shop Goodwill, and that's where I can go find all the things I'm watching, and all the things I've won. And they communicate through emails. You can actually communicate with them before bidding. You can email them.
I saw that there was a button for that.
Yeah, like I don't know what this is. Let's look at this item. Oh, that's really pretty. Sorry. So where did it go? Somewhere down here. Seller info. I think it might be. Let's see. Yeah, you can contact them this way right here.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so usually when I go pick up something, I will have at least 5 items that I've won, and sometimes more. But this is a new thing for me, and I've been enjoying it. And I can do that at night before I'm going to bed, or if I can't sleep, I can just be looking on the auctions, and they have some of the stuff they put on here is just, you're going, why would they auction that? But some of it's really good. So I highly encourage you to at least look. It's completely worth looking and checking out.
Do you buy any? You buy some jewelry, or you're buying like individual pieces, or you're buying some like jewelry bags or lots, or what would you?
Yeah, it's usually I've done both. I've bought individual and jewelry lots. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. This is odd. Tanya might like this. Tanya, there's some
rocks.
I don't know what that means. I don't know. Maybe they're special. Tanya would probably know. I've never seen anything like that on here, but I mean, they are unusual. So you maybe.
All right, price $10, minimum bid $10. So no one's bid on it yet.
Nobody's bid, but Tanya might have. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm having fun with it. I don't know if I'll do it forever or
$9.99, Tanya, starting bid.
Yeah, start it. So, I just did something, Adam.
That's fine. You can just end screen share. Should be up near the top.
Oh my gosh. Oh, stop sharing. Duh.
Right, there you go. You're back.
Okay.
No, because a lot of people, I mean, I talked about it, I know nothing about, I mean, I know of it, but I really know nothing about Shop Goodwill. And, like I said, I thought Delmo did it, and she says, no, I would like to do it. But I guess she has opportunity because she's in Texas too, but she finds, jewelry bags. And then her son, I think it's in Chicago, when he finds jewelry bags and they pick things up, and she buys in auctions and whatnot. But starting at $10, yes, Michelle, started at $10 for 3 rocks.
Yeah. But what if they're really expensive rocks? I don't know. Maybe some gemologist
not just a bag of rocks,
I know.
Yeah. Anyway, so a lot of people, I mean, I really would like to get into that a little bit. Again, I don't really know jewelry. Like I said, so that's why I'm buying like individual pieces. I don't want to get involved in fashion jewelry. I want to buy, either vintage costume jewelry or pieces that are, more valuable, so to speak, sterling and different stones. And I picked up some various jewelry that has the better stones and just sterling, or I don't really get involved with gold. And then I ordered a testing kit, and then it was leaking all over. The asses were leaking all over, and I sent it back. But I mean, that's another thing. So you can test it to see if it's sterling. I mean, some people say it's marked sterling or it's marked 925, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's sterling just because it's marked. Because
it's kind of fun though, the jewelry, like the testing. I enjoy testing it. I enjoy like doing the research. I've always been a research type of person anyway, so it's been fun. But I had a ring the other day that I got from Shop Goodwill, and I looked at it, and it's beautiful, but it doesn't fit. And I bought it for me, but I know I can resell it. But I'm looking at it, and I go, it's marked 925, but it feels like stainless steel to me. And so I went to go test it. Oh, and that's another thing with Shop Goodwill, you can return it if it's not represented correctly. So if it were sterling or stainless steel and they claim it's 925, you can return it. I don't want to drive out there to return anything, so I probably wouldn't. But you just have to be smart when you're buying. But
how much time do they give you?
I'm not sure because I haven't returned anything. Okay. But I went to go test it because I was pretty convinced it wasn't.
It was stainless.
95, yeah, and it is. And I could tell when I scratched it, because with stainless, you can tell the second you scratch it on a stone, you can tell if it feels like it's going to be silver or if it feels like stainless, because stainless gives a really rough scratch, you know. And so I was pleasantly surprised, but your eye and your hand can trick you. So testing with acid, if you're going to sell jewelry, you should definitely be testing with acid if you're going to claim that it is something. Otherwise, you should say it is marked 925, but you are not sure. Fantastic, you have to cover yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it should too, especially on eBay with the IMAD items not as described. I mean,
right.
I mean, it could be inadvertent, but a lot of times I think people just say, "Oh, it's not," or you sell something for parts only, and they buy it and they say, "Well, this doesn't work." Well, yeah, I said 3 different places that it's for parts only, and they still want to return.
But I know that does happen.
Okay, so I guess you have yard sales and garage sales. You do a little bit of estate sales. You said, right?
Yeah, I do.
And you do.
Let's see, what else?
Stores, and you do Shop Goodwill.
Well, here's something interesting. Like I've bought things off of eBay to flip on eBay,
right,
but not very often. I mean, I don't go searching for those deals, but if I happen to see something, I'll go, no, I'm getting that, and I'll sell it for more. But I've been tagged in a YouTube video. Don Maserati tagged me to buy an eBay jewelry auction. So of course I've accepted it, but I'm struggling to find one that I want to pay for. I have the one I want, but it's at $170 right now, and I'm not willing to do it. I don't want to buy the costume jewelry unless it's vintage. You know, I just don't want that cheaper item. It's not worth it for me. So I'm struggling doing the eBay auction for jewelry, but I'm sure there's some tricks that I'll pick up along the way, or maybe some of my sweet friends and your friends in the chat will message me and let me know what the tricks are.
Yeah, I know. Angie buys. I don't know if she's buying from Etsy and Posh and eBay. I know she does quite a bit. That she'll buy on another platform and then sell it on Posh or sell it on Etsy. I was going to say hello.
Yeah.
I was going to say hello.
Oh, and Tanya brings up antique booth. You know, since I do have a booth.
You were talking about your booth. Why don't you address that?
Yeah. You know, sometimes I source from the antique mall too. Like if I'm going up there to, you know, clean up my booth and reorganize it, I'll shop the other booths. And I'm in a very large antique mall. You could easily spend 5 hours in there, easy, and not hit everything. I mean, it's just, there's so much stuff. But sometimes I'll just kind of walk through and something might catch my eye that maybe I know something about and they didn't, because there's always those items that I don't know about and someone else does and they get a great deal. Well, it works in reverse too, you know. So you can't know everything. So I'll find some items that I can sell on eBay. Maybe that booth owner or renter isn't selling on eBay, so I have a different market for that. So I do that sometimes. But yeah, so I have a booth. I started out by sharing it with a friend of mine, and we filled it up very fast. So he owns a recycling center, and people bring him stuff for scrap to sell, and he will throw the stuff that he finds interesting into a shed or a room or a storage pod. Well, he did that for years, and he had like 4 storage pods stuffed full of things. And so I called him one day. I go, "You want to split a booth? I'm a little nervous to try." And he said yes. So we filled it up so fast. We got another booth and another in a month. And so that's overflowing now. But I'm not into it now. He's doing great because he has so much stuff.
Right.
I'm not, it's not something I look forward to going to do. I don't look forward to going to the booth. It's usually pretty messy. People don't put things back. It ends up in another person's booth, or you've got someone else's item in your booth. And it's something that I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna keep going, because I want to do other things that make me more money and maybe don't take up so much time, because I feel like I should be pouring more time into that. And I'm obviously not wanting to, because it's been weeks since I've been up there.
Right. So more of a chore, and like you said, you need to be passionate about it. You're not passionate about it anymore. So
yeah, and our booth rent is so high. I mean, in my opinion, our booth rent, I think it's a 5 by 7, I think.
That's tiny.
And it's $235 plus 10% commission. I don't have to go up there and work it or anything. You know, some of those booths you have to go up and work it once a month or something like that. But I don't. I just, if I had passion, it'd be a great deal, but I just don't. So I'm probably going to let that one go.
Right. Tanya, yeah. How big is your booth, Tanya, if you don't mind sharing? Tanya, I think Tanya's still in the chat. How big is your antique booth, Tanya? She'll put that in the chat.
Hey, Bianca. Hi, Misha. Anna.
Did she hear me? Maybe not. She'll probably answer me, and I'll start talking about something else.
Oh, I think she just left. I think she had to leave.
Okay, okay.
I've talked with her today. She's got a busy day, so that makes sense. Yeah.
Do you know how big her booth is? Is it on the larger size, or?
She told me today, actually, and I can't remember. It's smaller than that.
Okay.
Yeah. She has a good deal, though. She's been there so long that she's kind of grandfathered into a real cheap price. Right. Like everyone else at her booth pays more. So she's got a good deal, and she can put other items in her booth that I can't. I mean, ours has to be at the minimum vintage or antique. Like, you cannot be putting homemade crafts. You cannot, not that I want to. You can't be putting, you know, just any old thing. Where she can put in a Tommy Bahama shirt if she wanted to. You know, she can do whatever she wants. So ours is pretty particular, which is cool. I like that. I think that's kind of how I like it. But hey, Carol. But I don't know. I'm going to give it up. I can always get another one if I want to. You know, that's how I look at it. Nothing's permanent in life. So I'll just do what makes me happy at the moment. Because if I'm not mentally happy, then what am I doing? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about your antique booth. Why don't you just, again, we're moving right along here. Why don't we just talk a little bit about sourcing? Is there anything special? Like, let's just say, I know you say you buy one-offs now and you're trying to buy hard goods. These people keep calling me. Oh my God, I get on these lists somehow.
I'm so tired of that. I know.
Oh my word. And I muted my phone. It's still ringing. And then it's connected to my iPad. So my iPad's ringing too. It's like, it's like I muted it. It's still ringing. Oh, it's my iPad that's ringing now. Okay. So let's just say you're going to again, we're starting to get into the yard sale. It was supposed to be 60 today, but it's chilly. It's going to be like in the 60s this weekend. So we should start with the yard sales and garage sales. Do you have anything special that, I mean, any kind of like bolos, you know, people say be on the lookout for, or, you know, do you have anything special that you find that a lot of your typically, I mean, again, now I'm catching you off guard a little bit. I mean, I'm just asking.
Okay. I'm just trying to think, like, I'm not anybody special. Like, so I'm just
kitchen. I mean, what do you typically, I mean, it just catches your eye, and
it's got to catch my eye. I guess I don't know how to put the bolos into words. Maybe, like, I know that some of the vintage appliances you definitely want to look up. I just sold a Black & Decker under the cabinet can opener for about $150, and stuff like that they don't make anymore. Those are really my favorite, but they're hard to come by. I've got a Space Maker coffee pot that I got for $2 at a estate sale, and it's not in the best shape. If somebody wants it, you know, and they're going to pay for it because they don't make those anymore. Right. And just those weird, you know, the things like that I do enjoy. And I guess I don't know. I don't really, I guess anything that just looks odd. If you go yard selling with Tanya, you'll see who, you know, she's like a pro at looking for the weird things. And it's really cute. It's funny. But that's kind of how you have to be, is look for something that's doesn't even look like it's anything special, but it's weird.
Unusual. Right.
Yeah. And that's what I like about that over clothes, is there's some weird stuff out there in this world. And Mike, the crazy card, he finds the weirdest stuff. I love seeing what he finds. And I mean, I don't find stuff like him, but you know, I wish I did.
So you just kind of go in and you just kind of peruse everything. It's like, oh, that looks unusual, and you just look at it and you look it up, and
I look up almost everything unless
right.
I just already know, or if it's so cool that I want it myself, you know, or I wouldn't hate it if I got stuck with it. But I pretty much am that person. If I haven't sold it before and I don't know the market, I'm going to look it up. And I'll look it up by using eBay on my phone, but I also use WorthPoint for the older items. And I love WorthPoint. It has paid for itself every single month since I've had it. I know we have Terapeak now. I haven't tried it. I've paid for a year advance on WorthPoint, so I haven't even tried Terapeak, but I do need to, because I don't know. Have you tried that, Adam?
No, in fact, I'd spoken on my last video. I'm going to try to find somebody that uses Terapeak. Not a lot of people that I know have used Terapeak. I think I might reach out to, because I went to eBay Open. I have concierge service, which I really don't call them much, but I think I might reach out to concierge service, and maybe they can put me in touch with somebody at eBay, and maybe somebody can come on and just, I mean, if they can give me 10, 15 minutes just to discuss it. Because a lot of people are not familiar with it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if anyone in the chat's used it. You know, I mean, it'd be nice to know somebody that knows how to use it too.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know of anyone that has used it. Maybe Craig, have you used Terapeak? I know he's kind of like an app kind of guy. Craig the Landshore Pickers. He might still be in the chat. He might have used it. Or maybe Mike the Crazy Card has used it.
Mike knows everything.
Yeah, I'm not really a techie guy, but I mean,
yeah,
I would like to learn about it though. And like I said, I mean, even simple things like the YouTube and the Canva and different things. Michelle, you've used it a little bit. Okay. Terapeak, I was a seller. Terapeak is worth using. It covers almost all sales on eBay. WorthPoint goes back more in time, but it only has some types of items. Okay,
yeah,
that's interesting.
You know, like I think one thing WorthPoint did for me recently, Terapeak couldn't have done, because it showed me a sale from, I think it was 2013 of, I'll share it, the candy dish. I was
you have
share.
that up. Why don't you share that? Yeah.
Okay, here we go again.
You remember how to do it again? Application window.
Yeah.
You'll be all pro at this by the time we get done.
I don't know about that. Okay, that.
I'll tell you when it pops up. There you go. Perfect.
Is it okay?
It's up.
So this item, yeah, this, like most, I don't go out looking for glass, because I know a lot of it doesn't sell well. And I didn't go looking for this one. I didn't source it at all, actually. This was my mother's, and it may have been my grandmother's as well. I don't need, I love pretty things, but I don't need them in my life. And I don't, like I said, I'm trying to downsize my life. So this item, when my parents passed away, my sister found this in an old box in the attic full of mostly junk. And this had some form of bugs in it. It was nasty, gross. It was so disgusting. So she wanted to throw it away. And I'm like, I'll clean it up. And it's pretty. I'm sure it's pretty under there, under all the dirt and dust. So I brought it home, cleaned it up, and I used it as a little sugar dish for about a year. And I actually chipped it and repaired it. And I go, you know, this is just too pretty for me to be using as a sugar dish when I'm just going to destroy it. I'll just set it on a shelf. Well, then that led me to go, I should look this up. So I inspected it super close. It was signed Fenton. And I go, well, now I need to, even though not all Fenton's worth money and most Carnival glass is not worth money. But this one, I found on WorthPoint something super similar to this that had sold for $300 years and years ago. Like I think it was 2013. And then I saw another one that sold for really good money in this similar color, you know, the ruby red carnival glass. And it's really iridescent. It's really, it's like a color shifting, you know, finish on it. It's beautiful. So I decided to list it. And I know a lot of people can't list those sentimental things from their family, but I tend to, I'm okay letting things go, most things, not all. Anyway, so I know I disclosed in there that the lid has repair where it broke off a piece. You have to look very hard to find it. Repair was done. You know, with a good picture of it. But WorthPoint is the reason I got $159 for that. Otherwise, I would have probably priced that at $14, you know, so WorthPoint pays for itself for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean, because not all Fenton's worth anything, and Carnival glass is a dime a dozen usually. So
is it?
I don't know
I'm
what
not even familiar with the Carnival glass. It's more of an expensive item.
It's that coloring where you used to go to carnivals and they had that sparkly glass that you'd throw a ring into or something, you know.
Okay.
And yeah. But
like the ring toss games.
I probably like described that really wrong, but okay, correct me. I'm not always right. But anyway, it was really beautiful and it was worth something. And even with that chip in it, I still got really good money. So I like using WorthPoint as, you know, one of my tools to help me get the right price. And I'm also a person that will wait. I'll wait it out. And I didn't have to wait very long. I think that sold in about 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did you have invested in it? Oh, that's what you didn't have. Your parents, right? It was your parents.
Yeah.
Right.
But now I know if I
so
see
if you see that out in the wild, so to speak.
Yeah, and it's signed. I will definitely.
Fenton is the more valuable, or are there other ones that you know of, other brands that are valuable as well?
I'm sure there is. And I was shocked that it was even signed because some Fenton pieces aren't signed and they're not always easy to find. So, you know, as a jewelry seller, you've got those loops. I don't have one here.
Right, but, jewelry loops, right.
So I was looking at this glass with this loop and I go, oh my gosh, it's Fenton, you know, because I was just trying to figure out what brand it was or, you know, what maker. But so you just have to find what works for you as far as what you use to help you get your price. You know, Mike probably would have got twice that amount, but I was very happy with that and hope it gets there safely. It's small, so it wasn't too bad to ship, and not everybody likes to ship glass. I haven't broke a piece yet, so yeah.
What's your trick? Do you use shipping peanuts? Do you double box and put bubble wrap and shipping peanuts?
Lots of bubble wrap and usually a double box, but not always. Just depends on the size of it. But if it's anything larger, definitely double boxing and then putting filler paper in between the, you know, I don't use peanuts because I don't ever have them.
Right. I know people say they don't like them, but somebody was telling me as opposed to using just styrofoam that the peanuts kind of mold and they kind of give. So if there's like a shock to the box, the peanuts kind of cushion it. I know this is just following other resellers, you know, it's just what they say that they do. So that's a good tip though.
If I get something with peanuts in it, I definitely save it and use them, but I never go buy them.
Right. Well, I know that they're messy and whatnot. So, okay. So we talked about yard sales and garage sales. Do you have any kind of like philosophy or do you have any kind of system, so to speak, when you go into thrift stores? And do you shop at all at the bins? Do you bother with the bins? Twice in your life? Twice. Yeah, I'm not a bins person.
Yeah. So the first time at the bins, it was an accident and it didn't last very long. As soon as I went through a couple bins and I found some good stuff like vintage fabric and a couple other items. And then I stuck my hand in. I wasn't prepared because I didn't know it was a bins, you know, so I didn't have anything with me like gloves. And I know whatever. I stick my hand in and there's something very, very wet. And I just pulled it out. I go, I gotta go. And I just went straight to the bathroom, washed my hands, go, I can't do this, you know. And I'm sure it was probably the kid in front of me, you know, the mom had the baby in the car and she probably dumped her drink in there or something. It was probably something really
Or it could be something sharp that was in there, you know?
I know. I was
Things that
just
are
like,
broken.
so I paid for my items, you know, and I did well on what I found. I'm not against the bins. I had to leave. I just had to go. And
Right.
then 2 weeks ago, I think, I went and picked up my shop Goodwill items, and it's in the same building as the bins over by our airport. And so I went through and I found a couple things. I stayed away. When they bring out the new bins, I don't go. There's no room for this white girl there. Like, I'm not the one that needs to be there.
Yeah, you got
So,
to
you know,
use
and I
your
was all
elbows and knock people out of the way. And
so, and everyone was really nice. Everyone's really nice. And this guy came up to me. I found something that was actually quite valuable if it was complete. And I tossed it back into the bin because I was like, I don't want to mess with this. It was a 1980s, what's his name? Hulk Hogan wrestling figure, you know, wrestling. And they
figurine.
sell for
Right.
in the 300s. Okay.
Really?
They're
That
big,
particular figurine, right?
big money. So I'm looking through the comps, and you know, this one's in really rough shape. I'm like, well, I can get all the grime off of it, but it's missing the headband, the belt. Those are the important parts. So I think at the end of the day, I could have got $25 for that at that point. And I was like, I don't want to mess with it. So I toss it back in, feeling guilty because I don't want it to go to the landfill. And this guy walks up to me and goes, why are you throwing that back? And I told him. And so we sat there and talked, or stood there and talked, and super nice guy, has 3 antique booths. We, you know, made friends with him. And he started telling me about our second bins that we have here and how it's better. It's not as aggressive. The people are nicer. You know, so it's better quality stuff. So I'll try that one. I'm not opposed to trying. I'm not afraid to get dirty. But I have to be in the right frame of mind and prepared, you know.
Okay.
Have you been to the bins, Adam? Ever?
I've been a couple times. It's actually not too far from me. But I have issues. I know I mentioned before, but I've had Achilles surgery. My other Achilles is bad. Then my back will start hurting. I mean, my regular Goodwills are aggressive when they do dollar days. I mean, I've had people like try to knock me out of the way. I've had people take my shopping cart. I've had people shop out of my shopping cart, take things that I've already sourced, take it out of my shopping cart. When I'm at the bins, they tell you to don't take your cart with you, put it off to the side. And like you're supposed to put like a sheet or something over it. I put my cart to the side. I go back to get my cart to put it away. And it's like, it's gone. It's like, who took my cart? I mean, I didn't have anything to put in it.
And who does that? I mean,
yeah, that's the way they're just nuts at the bins. People are just like, it's like every man or woman for themselves. It's just nuts.
Yeah. So. I'll give it another shot for sure. Got a couple people that I'm going to go with though.
So, yeah, I think you almost have to go as a team, and then you kind of watch each other's back or watch each other's stuff. So, okay, now what about? We'll wrap things up shortly. What about when you go to like a thrift store? Again, you say you just kind of. I won't call it willy-nilly, but do you have any kind of system or?
No, I do, definitely. I usually, not always is this my rhythm in a thrift shop, but typically it is. I will usually hit the luggage first because I've sold, one of the first things I ever sold on eBay was a Tumi bag that was actually mine from my previous job. I had very nice items that my boss would buy for me. And I had a Tumi bag. I didn't need a Tumi bag, so I sold it. So I saw how fast I sold in a day, and I got good money. So I usually hit the luggage. I've probably found 7 or 8 Tumis in the last year. So they're out there. Sometimes they're in really bad shape. I don't usually buy them, but I've never found them priced high. I always find them like for $7.99. It's really crazy. Wow. Yeah. So I usually hit the luggage first because that's a fast flip and it's always good money.
Do you sell that locally or do you ship that?
I'll ship them. Yeah. Yep.
How do you ship them? Is there something you prefer? I mean, do you use FedEx or UPS for those larger items?
Options. I always give options in my shipping, you know, so for items like that, I always have priority and FedEx as an option. And sometimes I'll put local pickup on there, but I don't always think of doing that, you know, but yeah, they get to pick. So and they usually pick FedEx for the larger ones. So I'll hit that luggage area, and I kind of like, I'll hit through the hard goods on the way to the shoes. You know, I'll kind of get through one of the aisles of the hard goods maybe. And I like to sell shoes. I've done well with shoes, and um, they really don't catch all the good brands of shoes. So over by the shoes is usually the handbags. So I've done well on handbags too. I don't do, you know, I'm not always looking for the Gucci or the Louis. I find those at yard sales instead. But at a thrift shop, you can find good bags, and if you can feel what quality feels like, you can, you know, you can do well with that. And then I'll go hit the rest of the hard goods and the toys, maybe games. I may hit. I don't know. I'm kind of giving up on games for the most part, unless they're really
difficult to ship. They're bulky. I guess you can use pirate ship. Do you use pirate ship at all?
Yeah, I love pirate ship.
Right.
I love it. Yeah. And I'm grateful to the YouTube community. When they started speaking of that, I hopped right on board, and I love it. You don't save quite as much now, I think.
Yeah, it seems like eBay's more competitive now with their pricing.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, that makes it easier for us, right? You know, whatever. I don't care who I'm buying my shipping from, as long as it's cheaper. So I'll go with whatever. But yeah, that's kind of my strategy. I don't normally look through the clothes. I may look down an aisle, scan it, and if I'm interested in something, you know, if I do go through the clothes, my method is very simple. I will find out what color tag they're putting out that day, and I will go through the areas that I like to shop in. I mean, I always look at coats, but I don't consider coats clothes, but I guess it is. But I always look at coats. But I will go and look at the tag color that they're putting out that day, and that's all I look at through each area, and it cuts back on time. I'm sure I'm missing something, but I live in a city that's got a lot of resellers, and a lot of them do clothing. So I figure if a single clothing reseller's been in here, they found all the stuff that was put out yesterday, you know, so I don't have to waste my time. And that's just my method, because I don't want to spend all day in the thrift shop.
Are you involved with the agreement at all? Are you still involved with that? Or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a member. Yeah, actually, my favorite Savers is that's where I first met Chris, the bona fide wrestler. Yeah, I ran into him at a Savers a while back, and super nice guy. And you know, we have good competition, but there's still plenty of stuff out there for everybody. You know, I mean, I've never gone a day where I couldn't find something. Maybe I chose not to get it for whatever reason, but I can always find something.
Right. And like I said, I'm sure there's a lot of resellers in the Austin area. I mean, just you know, watching YouTube, and I guess you're right. Do you ever run into Chris and his brother?
Oh yeah. Oh, during when we're in full swing yard sales.
Taco Deli.
Almost. No. I let him have Taco Deli. No.
Okay.
Almost. You know, there's times where it's like every weekend I'm running into either Chris or Emerson or both of them. You know, don't always yard sell together. Sometimes they do it separately. And yeah, I run into them quite frequently. But we also all walk out with something. Like, it's not, you can't say there's too many resellers. It's just not the truth. We're looking for different things sometimes. And Chris and I are actually looking for a lot of similar items, and yet not, you know. So I mean, he likes to sell shoes and bags. I know he likes to sell shoes, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, that was some of the first things I sold on eBay too. Like, I've been doing it forever, and there's so many shoes out there. Think about how many people buy a pair of shoes, don't like the way they feel, and donate them or sell them at their yard sale. They aren't worn. You know, there's so many pairs of shoes.
Right. Okay, I'm going to wrap things up quickly. Just I always ask this. I mean, sometimes people have this little nugget, sometimes they don't. Do you have any kind of websites or apps that you use that that are unusual? I mean, I talk about Yard Sale Treasure Map, and I talk about Canva and something. Is there anything that you use that you found useful? I mean, I know you talked about Worth Point. You find that very useful. Is there anything else maybe that you could make us aware of that you use?
Yeah. I'm sure there's something better out there. This is something I
Right.
use because it's been on my phone forever and
Right.
it's there. I use an app called Photo Grid, and I know there's just a bazillion photo apps out there. I don't highly edit. I barely, if I edit, it's usually just within the eBay app quickly for the cover photo or whatever. But this one, if I need to show more than the 12 pictures they allow, I will photo grid 4 pictures, together. And that's just a real easy one. Yeah, it's very simple. And I just do the block. And I think you should have whatever app that you like, but always have an app where you can show more than 12 pictures, because there's sometimes it's necessary, especially if it's something that's damaged or if it's got wear, but it's still valuable. You don't want your customer questioning if I won't buy from somebody that doesn't show every piece of something. I will shut it down and go to the next. I mean, same with measurements. If you don't give me measurements, I'm not going to take my time out of my day and ask you what they are. I'm going the next one, so I feel like I'm supposed to sell like I would like to shop. So anyway, I use PhotoGrid. Google's my favorite. Like, what can't you do with Google alone? Just Google it. If you can't find it on eBay, you can't do it, Google it. So I really don't have anything crazy out there that I use or unusual, but WordPoint, if you're selling older items, I think it's a good thing. And there's ways to share that with people. I don't, it's mine. It's just, but I don't know, look into whatever you're selling and find the apps that work for you. That's kind of how I feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you would just hang for a minute, I'm going to try to do my drawing. Hopefully it'll work. I told you I was going to do my 500 subscriber drawing.
Oh, cool.
So guys and gals, what I decided to do was, like I said, a lot of you guys didn't really follow the rules completely. So what I'm planning on doing is, one, you have to definitely be subscribed to my YouTube channel and you had a comment on the video. That's how I'm going to do the drawing. And I mentioned my Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So what I'm going to require 2 out of those 3. You don't have to do all 3 out of 3. So again, you have to, for one, you have to be subscribed to my YouTube channel. You've had a comment on that video. That's how I wanted to do the drawing. And you have to either be liked or join my Facebook group, Instagram, or Twitter. 2 out of the 3. So I want to try to do this. I tried to do this prior, and it seemed to work. So let me just
Adam,
I
think you're presenting me.
I am presenting you. I am presenting
okay,
you. I just want to pull this up, and I'm going to see if I can present myself. And then I'm going to try to locate where I put this. See if I saved it. Let's see. And I didn't pull it up. Okay. All right, guys, bear with me here. I'm going to have to pull this up. And let's see. I thought I had bookmarked it, but maybe I didn't. Let's see if I have a bookmark somewhere. I do not. Okay, I'm going to have to pull it up. So, oh, here it is. Okay. Pull that up. Okay. So I'm going to have to go to the video. Just bear with me, guys. I'm going to pull this up and the video of what we're doing, drawing the comments on. And we'll pull that up and my page and my channel. And we'll go to my video. And we'll go. This should be it. Okay. Okay, here it is. So we will copy that. Then we'll go to random generator. Then I have to share the screen so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so we will share screen. We will do application window. We will share. Okay, so that should come up, and then I'm going to put. See if it's going to let me do this. You're not going to let me do this? Seriously? Why can't I? Huh.
I know you see people just do this so quickly. It scares me, that whole page right there.
I'm on it, and it should, for some reason, I wonder if it's because I have my ad blocker on. Let me just try that. Let me turn my ad blocker off. Sometimes that has an issue. Oh, I have the ad blocker turned off. Okay. Comment ticker.com protection is disabled. Okay.
Deb.
What'd she say?
Nothing.
It's not letting me. All right, guys. I guess what I'm going to have to do then probably is just film it and then put it in, because it's not letting me, for some reason, it's not letting me. Let me try it one more time. I have that screen open, and I have the, it's not, let me try it one more time. Okay. Here it is. Share, copy, YouTube random generator. Now it's going to do it. Okay. Here we go. Okay, we're going to get YouTube comments. And then we're going to do the drawing. Okay. Winner, Traci, you won.
No!
How about that? What are the odds of that? Guys, can you see that Traci won? She's first place.
I think I cheated or something.
I don't know. All right, so that was for the 25. Well, let me pick another winner. That'll be for the 15.
Thanks, guys. Oh, yeah, you're giving multiples.
Jackie Ray's. It's number 2.
Congrats,
guys!
Jackie.
You definitely should comment on this video. So I mean, that's part of the requirement. You have to subscribe. And I said, 2 of the other 3. So we'll double check. So it's Jackie Ray. It's number 2. And then okay, we don't want to discuss.
Carol, it's been my lucky month. Huh? She's like,
another
Traci,
winner. Yeah, you won something else. Didn't you win something from Thelma or something, or Anita, or?
I don't win anything in life.
Right,
I just
is number 3.
Yay, Skywatch. That's so cool.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've won 3 things now in a month's time. That's all. Thanks, Adam.
Stop sharing. Let me just pull up my. Where are we? There we go. There we go.
Oh, Jackie's in here. Cool.
Jackie's here. Cool.
Yes.
You're here. So that's 2.
I know. 3. So Skywatch, where are you?
Okay. Traci is cheating. I think 3 times this month she won. Okay. You better go to the casino.
I know. Whoa, you're right. And I definitely don't win there. So maybe I need to.
Okay, guys. What I'll do is I'll put in this particular video. I'll put an email address you guys can send to. I'm going to send one of my email addresses that I don't use a lot. So I'll put that in. I'm not going to put like my Gmail address because I don't want to be spammed. So I'll put something that I kind of use just for that type of thing. So again, first place, Traci, you can just give me your information when you hang a minute after the show. When I stop broadcast, just give me your information. And then Jackie Ray. And then my Skywatch was number 3. So let me so we'll do that. So we should be good to go. Okay, Jackie Ray. Okay, guys, was there anything, Michelle or David or anyone, was there anything in the chat that Traci and I may have missed? Any questions that we may have missed? Before, I know we're a little more than an hour here, but I wanted to see if there's anything you guys wanted to ask Traci while I had her on, or anyone I missed. What's the state?
I feel
David?
bad. I haven't been paying a lot of attention in the chat. I'm sorry, guys. I just had fun talking.
David, you're welcome. Look, if you want to come to Vegas, buddy, I mean, some issues as far as digestion. So I mean, if you don't mind, I mean, but I just got an ultrasound this morning. That's another story.
If you don't mind.
If you don't mind the noises and the, you're welcome to stay. I can get 2 queen beds instead of a king bed if you want to fly over to Las Vegas. You're welcome to stay with me. So, okay. So I guess we pretty much covered everything, guys, as far as the questions. There's nothing. We'll ask you offline if there's anything else you want me to put in the information in the description. I'll share with you guys. I have gallstones and I have a fatty liver. So I don't know if that's my issue, but I was sick for like 3 weeks. I was like, you got to be kidding me. It was like, it wasn't one thing, it was the next. The last 2 days I felt a little better, and then I got the ultrasound today, and then the doctor's office called me back. I have to go see a GI doctor, but that's on me. So I don't think I have any gallstones in my mother had them. My sister had them. I know my mother had them out, and back in the day they made these big, huge incisions, and it was a nightmare. I think my sister had hers out, but she might have had it done by arthroscopic surgery. So I don't know. I'll deal with it, but it is what it is. Don't get old. All right, guys. I don't think we missed any questions. At least I don't see anything coming up. Yeah, well, it's because of my weight, and I told you guys with my Achilles and everything on my back. Well, my back's been feeling a little bit better. I need to get back to the gym, and that's just the function of because you gain weight and you're overweight, your liver can't process the fats properly, and that's just a symptom. Your liver, helps you process the various toxins, and it doesn't properly work. And if it's a fatty liver, it's kind of, if you have cirrhosis or you have a fatty liver, it doesn't work properly. So we're not really here for medical advice, and I'm not a doctor, so don't take my information as gospel. But that's basically what I have. I'm going to go see the GI doctor. So, okay, guys, thank you. Congratulations to the winners again, and then we'll be on next Wednesday. I'm going to try to line up somebody else and try to probably get again, I told you guys I'm trying to line up my Poshmark specialist. She's just moved down to Florida, and I think she's finally settled in. I didn't want to pressure her too much. I think she's only been there for about 2 weeks, settled in. So she's a part of it. And I mention all the time to you guys that Casey the Rockstar Flipper, and she's part of his VIP group, and I'm going to try to see if I get her on and talk about some of the tips and the tricks, and how do you generate Poshmark sales. And again, I'm not very social, so I'm not really good with Poshmark. So I know some of you guys use this. I would like to bring somebody on that's really experienced with Poshmark. So again, thank you, everybody. Tracy, if you just stay for 1 minute after the show, and we'll be good to go. Okay, guys. Like I said, Michelle said it gets us my closing now because Prof doesn't use it anymore. Good sales to you. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share my videos, and I'd appreciate it, guys. Thanks again. You all have a great day, and thanks for being here. Bye now.
Bye.